All right, we are going to be covering outfield to infield plays. These are plays that are coming from the outfield. Generally, you'll hear players yell cut 2, cut 3, cut 4. We'll cover each one of those scenarios. You'll hear double cuts, sometimes referred to certain scenarios, relays, trailers, cutoffs. We'll go through each one of those terms. So we will start off covering all the scenarios where there's no runners on base. These are usually a little bit simpler, so we'll start with them. And all the plays are when the ball is hit to the outfield. So first we'll start with the balls that are hit to the right field and nobody on base. We'll start off in this area here that's shaded. We'll cover all of the scenarios that happen if the ball gets past the outfielders. And first we'll start with what happens before, if the right fielder can stop the ball. And so you'll hear players, this should be either the catcher, the shortstop, center fielder, but really anybody on the field who wants to take a leadership role should be yelling out before the pitch what the scenario is. There's nobody on base. Infield plays to first. That's where they should be trying to make the play. Outfield cut 2. Now, you always know what the cut is going to be before the pitch is thrown because you want to go 2 bases ahead of where the lead runner is. And in this scenario, the lead runner is the batter. There's nobody on base. So the second base, which is cut 2, is 2 bases ahead of the runner. So if the ball is hit into the outfield, unless it's in like shallow right field, you want to get the ball as fast as possible to second base in this scenario because you can't make that play at first. And you want to stop that runner from getting to second, or if they are trying to get to second base and try to get a double, you want to get them out. So that's why it's cut 2, letting everybody know that they want to get that ball to second base as fast as possible. So first thing we'll do, we'll send this ball out to right field. The right fielder stops the ball. Center field is going to be the backup. And now second base, you want to line yourself up as the cutoff. When I say line yourself up, you want to be in line with where the outfielder is throwing the ball. And get yourself in between where they're throwing the ball and second base. It's your job as a cutoff to make sure you're lined up in that area of the throw. They are throwing the ball to second base. You need to be in the way to be the cutoff and catch it if possible. Outfielders, you need to throw it so that if your cutoff needs to catch it, it's not too high over their head. It's not off to the side or at their feet. You want to give them a really good throw so that they can cut it off if necessary. So now we got the shortstop is going to be covering second. First base is going to cover first in case there's a play there. Pitcher, you are backing up. Left field, also backing up. And you can see that there's a line here. So if that ball does get past the shortstop at second, the pitcher needs to be in a spot not too close to second base where they're also going to miss the ball, but backed up enough so that if they get the ball, if the ball does get missed by shortstop, they can get the ball and stop the play. Third base, cover third. You never know if there's a play there, so you got to move there. And the catcher should always be moving up as well. So let's have the runner run. Ball comes in. Now before that cutoff catches the ball, it is the job of the player who is on the base that the ball is going to let that cutoff know what to do. And you'll hear things like 2-2-2. That's telling the cutoff to catch the ball and turn around and throw it to second. That means that there's probably a runner that is heading towards second, and so the play needs to happen. You need to catch that ball, turn around, and throw it to second base. You could hear things like 3-3-3, probably unlikely in this scenario, but what that's doing is it's letting that cutoff know that when they catch the ball, they need to throw it all the way to third base. So behind them, something might be happening that's causing that shortstop to think that the cutoff should not throw it to second and instead should throw it to third. You could have 4-4-4, same thing. It's just throw it home instead of throwing it to second or the third. If you hear cut, eat it, that means they should catch the ball. The cutoff should be catching the ball and not throwing it anywhere. Likely in this scenario, the shortstop sees that the runner is on first. They're not attempting to go to second base. We don't want to be throwing the ball if we don't need to be throwing it. We don't want to make errors if we don't have to. So in this scenario, the shortstop sees that there's no play to be made and is letting that cutoff know to catch that ball and to not do anything with it. Walk it in, run in, give it to the pitcher. Let's start the next pitch. If that person on the base doesn't say anything, you're letting the cutoff know to just let the ball go. Okay? So as a cutoff, if you don't hear anything and that ball is being thrown on target, let the ball go through. It might mean that if you catch it and try to turn around and throw it, you're not going to make the play. It probably means that the ball is on target, that shortstop thinks that they can catch it and make a play. So as a cutoff, do not catch this ball if you don't hear anything. Now, if the ball is off, if you know you're in a perfect line and that right fielder threw the ball 3-4 feet to your left or right, you know that by the time it makes it to second, it's going to be 10-20 feet offline. So in those scenarios, even if you don't hear anything, still catch and cut off that ball. Okay, next play. So this will be if it gets past that right fielder. So this could be a bomb that's hit over that right fielder's head. It could be, you know, a ball that's just mishandled by the right fielder and it gets past them. Really, anytime you see the outfield turn around so that the infield can see the back of their jersey, that's when these scenarios start to happen. And so here, I'll show you what happens. Again, before the pitch is made, nobody knows where the ball is going to be hit. So you got have someone on this team still yell, infield plays the first, outfield cut 2. Ball gets hit, gets past the right fielder. Now, again, now you know it's not cut 2 anymore. So this is what happens when it gets deep into that outfield. There's no play at first base anytime it's hit into the outfield unless it's shallow. Now, because it's out that far, there's no play at second. So there's no point in throwing this ball into second base. You're not going to make a play there. So instead, we want to get ahead of that base runner and cut 3 is what you'll be calling. So now, instead of it being cut 2, gets past the outfielders, someone on this team needs to yell cut 3. Again, catcher, shortstop, center fielder, literally anybody on this field who sees that this happens. Right fielder goes to get the ball. Center fielder is being the backup. Now, in this scenario now, instead of the second baseman just being the cutoff, they're what's called a relay. It looks kind of the same, but it's a little different. The shortstop is going to pull off of second base and get themselves to follow the relay. They're acting as a backup, in a sense, to the relay. If that throw comes into the relay and it's over their head or it's by their feet, the shortstop, being the trailer, should be like 10 to 15 feet behind the second baseman, still in line with that throw that is coming in to second, or now coming into third, so that they can turn around and throw it. Now, the difference why they're not a cutoff and now they're being called a relay and a trailer is because they're going to get the ball and turn around and throw it to third base no matter what. The ball is so far out into that outfield and that when they catch it, the runners, if they're good runners and they're well coached, should continue to be running the bases at this point. So in this situation, if the ball gets hit out into right field, you know that they're trying to turn this into a triple. So there's no reason to be a cutoff and catch the ball and have to have someone decide, you know, whether or not you should eat it, whether or not you should not catch it. You need to turn around and fire this to third base as fast as possible. So third base needs to cover third. You got left field needs to come in here and act as a backup to third. So at first they were starting to come in as if they were a backup to cut 2, but because it got past the right fielder, they now have to shift over and start to back up third. Same with the pitcher. They go in to be the backup for second, realize this is a cut 3, and need to run behind third base as a backup. Catcher needs to come up, cover home plate. First base. Now, if you notice that as the runner was running, they need to sort of tail and follow that runner because they are now in charge of second base, but they're also now the cutoff. And you can see that there is a big line here. That ball is going to come in from the outfield, be hit by the relay. If the ball from the outfield is a bad throw and the trailer needs to catch it, then the trailer becomes the relay and is then going to try to throw it into third base. Now, that first baseman now is the cutoff. So before this ball reaches them, it is now the job of the third baseman, being the person on the base that the ball is heading towards. They have to be yelling to that cutoff to let them know. So 3, 3, 3, 3. That means catch the ball, turn around and fire to third. There's a play that needs to happen, but you got to catch this ball, turn around and throw it to third base. You might, again, hear them yell 4, 4, 4. Maybe the base runners are really fast and they're trying to run all the way home. This cutoff needs to stop the play going to third. It doesn't make sense. The play has already missed at third and needs to throw it home to the catcher. Again, third baseman might yell, cut it, eat it. Maybe that guy is on second base and they're going to not attempt to run to third. No reason for that cutoff to throw the ball anywhere. So third baseman over there is telling the first baseman as the cutoff to just catch it, eat it, don't let the play happen anymore. We've got to end this play where it is right now. If that relay and trailer makes a really good throw and there needs to be a play at third, and that ball is coming in completely straight on line, then let that ball through. The cutoff should not catch this. The cutoff should let this ball skip, let the third baseman catch it, and make the play. All right, so now we are going to have a very, very similar play, but this one is going to be in this real off to the side right field area. This is a ball that gets hit right up the right-hand field. The reason why this is a little bit different is because that first baseman might have been trying to make a play for it. They might have already been pulled off of first base. It feels more natural to have them come out and be the cutoff. So again, before the ball is played, plays the first, outfield cut 2, ball gets hit into this area, right? Someone on this team needs to yell cut 3. Again, shortstop, center fielder, catcher, literally anybody on this field should be yelling cut 3 when this happens. Right fielder goes to get the ball, center fielder is going to try their best to get over there. Second baseman is going to run to be the cutoff or the relay. Again, it could be the first baseman that gets out there first, and then they're the relay. In this scenario here, the second baseman was faster. First baseman then is going to become the trailer. Again, if the first baseman is faster, happens to be pulled off and is running for it, then they can become the relay, and then the second baseman becomes a trailer. First baseman and second baseman should be communicating on this. Second baseman is heading towards second because they know that this is a cut 2 play, but now it's over the head of the right fielder, so they know it's cut 3. They're getting they're getting into a position where they're now the cutoff. Again, everybody's just lining up here. Third baseman's going to cover third. Left fielder goes over to be a backup. Pitcher, same thing. I got to get back here. You're the backup in case that ball comes through. Get as far back as possible. Get against the fence if you have to. So the catcher is going to step up in case there's a play at home that needs to be made. This runner comes around. Again, everybody's lined up. That ball comes in. Relay is just going to turn around and fire this thing to third. Before it gets to third, before it even gets close to the cutoff, third baseman needs to be yelling 3, 3, 3. 4, 4, 4. Cut it, eat it. Again, covered all these. Every single time. Or just let it go through if that's a good throw and there's a play to be made.